All right, ready to dive into some seriously thought-provoking stuff. We're taking a look at the Seikilos Epitaph today.
Ooh, that's a good one.
It's an inscription on an ancient Greek tombstone.
Okay.
But it's not your typical, rest in peace, somber message.
Right.
This one's got a little bit more to it.
Yeah.
It's also the oldest surviving complete musical composition.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, with notes and everything.
That's incredible.
Ever discovered.
Wow.
So we're talking about a message straight from ancient Greece.
A message in music.
Sent right to us.
That is really something.
Thousands of years later.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing.
It's wild how something carved in stone can feel so, immediate, like it's talking directly to you.
Yeah, and it starts with this, and I'm going to quote here. I, the stone, am an image.
Wait, the stone is talking?
Right. It's like the stone itself is the narrator.
I love that.
It's so different.
It's like Seikilos, the guy who had this tombstone made, wanted the stone to speak for him across time.
Yeah, and it makes you wonder about his motivations, why he did this.
Absolutely.
It goes on. And Seikilos places me here to be a long-lasting monument to immortal memory. So he was definitely thinking about leaving a legacy.
Big time. And we have to remember, death was a whole different ballgame for the ancient Greeks.
Yeah.
It wasn't just about mourning. It was about making sure the person's memory lived on.
Right.
Through stories, rituals, and in this case, a beautifully crafted inscription.
Exactly. And this one really goes a step further. Listen to this. As long as you're alive, shine. Don't be sad at all. Life is short. Time asks for its due.
Whoa, talk about a powerful message.
Right. I mean, that's not your typical inscription you'd find on a tombstone.
Definitely not. But you know what? It really speaks to a key idea in ancient Greek philosophy.
What's that?
Living life to the fullest, even though death is always there.
Yeah, I can see that.
It's not about being afraid of death or being sad.
I get it.
It's about minimizing your regrets.
Living a life you can be proud of. Okay, that makes sense. But what did shining actually mean to them?
Good question.
Was it like being famous or something? Like a modern-day influencer?
Not quite,
Okay.
It was more about living a virtuous life.
What?
Striving for things like courage, wisdom, justice.
Right.
Think of those big names, Socrates, Plato, Aristotle.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
They shone through their intellect and their contributions to society.
Yeah.
But even for regular people, it was about pursuing a good life, finding happiness, and leaving a positive impact.
Gotcha. So living a good life according to their values.
Yeah, exactly.
But then it says, don't be sad at all.
Yeah.
That seems like a pretty strong statement.
Yeah, it is.
Especially coming from someone who clearly understands that life is short.
Well, it all ties back to this idea of accepting things as they are.
Okay.
For the ancient Greeks, death was just part of the natural order.
Like a transition.
Right, not necessarily the end. Some believed in an afterlife.
Oh, right. Like the Elysian Fields.
Exactly. A paradise for the good folks.
Yeah. Others focused on leaving a legacy through their actions or how people remembered them.
Right.
But either way, they saw too much sadness as, messing with that natural order.
Interesting. I never thought about it that way.
It's a different perspective, for sure.
And then it ends with, life is short, time asks for its due.
Man, that's a truth that hits home no matter when you live.
Yeah, it really does.
It's so universal.
That's what makes this inscription so powerful.
For sure.
It reminds us that even with all our technology and progress, we're still bound by the same limits.
Yep, our time is limited.
And it's up to us to make the most of it.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's incredible how much wisdom is packed into this short inscription.
Right.
And the fact that it was even set to music just adds another layer to it.
Oh, totally. Can you imagine hearing this melody, probably played on a lyre or flute, at Seikilos' funeral?
Wow. Yeah.
I bet it was both melancholic and uplifting.
Yeah.
Kind of like the inscription itself, embracing life's joys, but also knowing it doesn't last forever.
That's amazing. It is. But sadly, we only have the notes, not a recording of how it actually sounded.
Oh, that's too bad.
It makes you wonder what other amazing things are still out there waiting to be discovered.
It really does.
But going back to the inscription,
Yeah.
what really strikes me is how it's not just a reflection on life and death.
Right.
It's a challenge
Well, yeah.
to us, even thousands of years later.
A challenge to live our best lives.
Exactly. How are we choosing to shine?
That's the big question, isn't it? This ancient message from Seikilos.
Yeah.
It forces us to ask ourselves, what will our own legacy be?
What will people remember us for?
How are we making our lives count?
That's something worth thinking about, don't you think?
I think that's a perfect note to end on.
I agree.
Thanks for joining me on this deep dive into the Seikilos Epitaph.
My pleasure.
It's been a fascinating journey.
It has.
Until next time.
See ya.